Welcome to the Resilient Mindset Podcast, an exciting new podcast by Resilience Queen, Justine Martin. Justine is the owner and founder of the Resilient Mindset, a division of the Justine Martin Corporation. Justine draws on her years of experience and knowledge, consulting with clients to develop and sustain a positive mindset. Focused on igniting your passion, purpose and power, follow the Resilience Queen each week as she delves into the mind of her guests, exploring fascinating stories and inspiring journeys.
Welcome back, listeners. Today I've got with me Alyce Garth. Alyce is a health and nutritional coach supporting exhausted, high-achieving women and mums living with thyroid and autoimmune conditions so that they have the energy to confidently breathe through the day without it feeling like a struggle. She draws on her extensive qualifications as a certified health and life coach, has a Bachelor of Health Sciences, majoring in nutrition, food studies and health promotion. And she has also represented Australia in Triathlon World Championships. Following Alyce's own challenging health journey and living with an autoimmune condition for over a decade, she's passionate about sharing her knowledge and strategies with other women so they don't have to go through the same struggles as she did. Her signature approach focuses on nutrition, habits and behaviour change and empowers her clients to take control over their health. Alyce lives in Mackay, Australia with her family, where she loves multi-day hiking, visiting the beach and spending time cooking in the kitchen. Welcome, Alyce.
Thank you so much for having me, Justine. I'm so excited to be here talking all things resilience.
You're welcome. So let's get straight into it. What does resilience mean to you?
So resilience for me, I guess, when I first think about it, it's that courage to get back up when adversities or challenges strike. And then I guess if I think about it a bit deeper, resilience, it really means for me taking that empowered, action and mindset approach to things as well, and keep smiling through those challenging situations, as well as being confident to try new things, step outside of our comfort zone, and really being aware when we need to be resilient, and what it means to our life, for putting things into place when it comes to resilience.
Yeah, great definition there, Alyce. So what's an adversity that you've faced and how did you draw on your resilience to cope?
Yeah, so for me, it's been my health journey, and that's sort of what's led me down the path and why I'm so passionate about supporting other women. So I had a bit of a firestorm there. It was all when I got diagnosed with thyroid and my autoimmune condition, as well as I had an extensive back injury where I chipped multiple vertebrae and tore lower back muscles. So, to go on and actually represent Australia for triathlons 9 years later was humongous. And, I had, it just was sort of timing. That injury took a long time to get over. And, the first year was the toughest year because, I couldn't run, I couldn't do a lot of things. But then, it did start to get better. But for many years, just even doing a running race, that was just off the cards. But then another area there as well that I got hit with all around the same time. So it was almost like one thing happened and then I sort of got a bit better from it, and then another thing,
that often happens, doesn't it? It's like snowballs in the wrong way.
Yeah, it really did. And then I got hit with massive gut issues as well. So, and often that is something that's related for women with, thyroid autoimmune conditions. There can be a, correlation with gut. So, I was lactose, fructose and fat malabsorption. So it took a long time to get my diet right and a lot of resilience when it came to food and eating.
Yes, definitely. Because we need food. It's not as if that's something that you can just say, well, I'm not going to worry about that and I'm not going to eat. You definitely need it to survive. Yeah, so what coping mechanisms did you use throughout that time?
So I guess I used different ones for, those sort of three major sort of health issues that all sort of came about. And I guess with the back, the coping, I guess it was just doing things like that empowered action. So doing things that was within my control, like, early days, there was no way I could run, there was no way I could do things, but, walking, and just focusing on those small things that I could do. And I guess that sort of been an approach that I've always taken. So, it's focusing on what you do get to do and not what you don't. And same goes with food, focusing on what you get to eat, not what you don't get to eat. So definitely having that mindset, working for you and, supporting you with the various challenges that you're facing. I also sought out, support. So with the back injury, I was seeing physio and osteo, I was getting regular massages. So having that, really good self-care, and the gut as well, I sought out a naturopath and, really focused on all those, beautiful gut healing foods. And then with my thyroid, that was an interesting one with support, because once I'd gotten through, the medication and the diagnosis stage and started to feel back, getting back on track and feeling normal again, it wasn't until many years later that it dawned on me that, I wasn't 100%. Like, I knew that, like, prior to getting diagnosed and before all the horrible symptoms started, my brain was so sharp. And then once I'd, gotten the treatment under control, I'd always thought, my brain's just still, it's not as sharp as that once was.
It's foggy. It was that
still
foggy
had that
kind
foggy.
of.
So I sought out support from, medical practitioners. I went to them with, my concerns, and they rattle the blood panels and that sort of thing, and they'll be like, no, your paperwork's great, you don't, it's really good, it must be stress, it must be something else. And then the more I researched, the more that I was like, I'm pretty sure that my reverse T3s is not in alignment with what it should be. And
so that's the thyroid for those out there that don't know about medical terms. I do, but that's a thyroid.
Yes, that one is. So and I was like, I'm pretty sure that the medication I'm on isn't converting properly, hence why I'm feeling these symptoms still. So I sought out a second opinion, and same result. Everything looks great on paper, nothing wrong, must be something else. And it wasn't until the third practitioner that said, okay, we'll run all these labs. And as it was, my reverse T3 was way too high. So it wasn't until I was able to then see someone that would listen and really take my concerns, and I guess also have that speciality and know about it as well, because I guess it's finding the right people to support you, and that's always been a thing on my health journey. I guess, and that's where resilience has come in. So just don't give up at the first person that says no, or if someone gives you advice and you think I know my body best, and that doesn't feel right. So I think that that's been a really a key takeaway, and something that I apply now to all areas of my life, and especially with your health, and again with eating. Through my nutrition studies, I studied over 100 diets, and there's just not one perfect diet out there. You have to, because there's not one perfect, one person that has the same genetic makeup, etc. So, we all need different things, and depends on what life stage and what we're doing as well. Like with my endurance sports as well, I need to eat a completely different amount of food to someone who's living a more, sedentary lifestyle. So, we have to be really in tune with our body. So that's something throughout the 3 challenges of my health that I've always really drawn on to help with my resilience, because that's, I guess, given me that, that clear path, and it's a lot easier once you're in tune with your body to stay on a path rather than being, taken off track by just random bits of information that either people give you or that you read.
And I think, that key of no one's living in our bodies except for us. And I went to a medical practitioner back in 2016 with a rash that was on me. I was going purple. I looked like a zombie. And so my nose and my chin and my ears and my fingers and my toes were all going dark purple, nearly black, when the air temperature would drop to 12 degrees. And then that was happening at 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to like 19 degrees. And my GP, so general practitioner, turned around and told me in the June 2016 not to worry about it, that if it was still happening, come back and see her in 3 to 4 months' time. Now, if I'd listened to her and not my body, I knew something was wrong. I'd not be here today. As it turned out, I had stage 4 cancer. So, and it took them a long time to actually diagnose that as well. So I, definitely wouldn't be here. So no one knows our body better than what we actually do. And when you're in tune with your body, like you said, it makes a hell of a difference in being proactive in your own health journey.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I'm like you. There's some foods that I can't eat. I'm allergic to caffeine. I'm intolerant to lactose. I haven't had a cup of coffee in 30 years, or tea. I buzz around enough now without putting caffeine in there. I'm high on life. I'm wheat intolerant. So there's so many different things that my system, when I eat it, I know instantly what it does. And I just look at some people and they're like, oh, I can eat anything. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, you probably are eating everything, but you have no idea the impact that's having on your body. And when you stop and actually think, oh, I eat this and I bloat from it, well, that's an issue.
Yeah, that's it.
If you eat something and you've got to undo your pants and you haven't overeaten, that's an issue. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I always think, like what you said, like people can eat whatever they want, but imagine if they were eating cleaner and eating in tune with their body and what their body needed, like how much better they would feel. And then I guess the flow-on effect of that, how you bring yourself to everything, and that's what I say, like with your health, it's that key pillar, like, when it's working well and you're feeling good and you're feeling healthy, that's when, you can really show up for yourself, your family, your career, everything that you want in your life. Yeah,
definitely. And that all comes down to self-care. And we've spoken about this in the podcast over the last couple of episodes on how important self-care is and fueling your body. And fueling your body is one of the 10 top tips that I have got a pack designed for, and you can download that pack. And if that old saying, you are what you eat, is so true. If you're putting rubbish food into your body, your cells are going to have rubbish nutrition in them. And in order to have the energy to run triathlons, or in my case to compete in strongman events and weightlifting, and just running 5 businesses as well, people say to me, oh, how do you do everything? And it's because I eat good, I eat clean, I drink water, and I exercise. So the fundamentals of what there is no magic potion and there is no magic pill, but if you fuel your system right, you'll get the optimum performance out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we expect a lot of our bodies, and that's exactly right. We just need to fuel it correctly so that we can live out and do all these things that we want to do.
Yeah. So how did you look after your mindset through that period of time? Because I can imagine you had some pretty dark days.
And there definitely were. And I guess when those dark days came, it was not trying to fight it. So for me, just being like, today's just not a day, and like, not a day that I'm going to do all the things that I would normally do when I'm my happy, bubbly self. And I guess it was being like compassionate to myself and not letting myself sort of wallow. So it would sort of be like, I'd give myself that day, this is a day that you can just take some time out, sit with it. And I guess also just tuning into, why I was feeling like that. And then, again, it always comes back to what could I be doing instead? So, what's going to make me feel good? And something that I've created, and it's something that I encourage my clients to create, is a nurture list. So having a list of 10 things that are nurturing activities that when you do have those dark or challenging moments, that you don't have to think about something that's going to be nurturing. You've got your list there, and then you can go and do it. So, things for me that, really, I guess just make me grounded, make me feel, calm and relaxed and feel good. I love a magnesium bath. I love sitting on a chair in the sun with my favorite book. I love going for a walk in nature. Just those sorts of things that I know are going to be good for my body and my soul and my mind, as well as, seeing, I really do love, and I feel that, I really bounce off people that have really good energy. So making, just a simple phone call to somebody that is going to light me up and I'm going to enjoy talking to. So it's just those really simple things, but I find having that list makes it so much more easy to put into place when those moments do come. So that was a big one that I used throughout the challenging times.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, when you are in that mindset of, it's a darkish time and you're not having a good day, to then try and think of something requires energy. But I love that idea of having a list and And it's like, okay, well, I'll do this one now, or do that one. I love watching a funny movie, or putting something on that's, enlightening, or just to see my grandchildren and talk to them. That puts me in a lot better mood. And I try and avoid the negative people on those days, because they just suck the life out of you when you're full of life, let alone when you're having a sad day or a bad day. So I do allow myself to have, those sad days, and grieve. I still grieve for, my former life, so to speak, on some days, not every day. And, they'll come out of the blue, and my body's, normally very fatigued, and it's failing me in some way. And then I'll start grieving about, what it was like prior to being diagnosed with MS, and everything then, going wrong. And it's okay to sit in that moment. It's okay to be there. It's okay to be sad for that period of time, but just don't extend it for a long period of time, because you can't be happy 24/7, and you can't be positive 24/7. But it's okay to have that sad emotion and sit in it for a short period of time, and then pull yourself back out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think on those days as well, just getting to bed early, and just, closing that day off sooner rather than later, and just, waking up and knowing, and that was another thing, waking up before you put your feet on the ground, today is going to be, and then, setting yourself up with some really positive words on the back of having a bad day. That's something that's always been a really helpful one for me as well.
Mine is, if my feet touch the ground today, it's going to be a fantastic day. Regardless of what happens, my feet touch the ground and I can get out and I can walk. Because I've woken up before and I've not been able to put my feet on the ground, and I've ended up in a wheelchair, like in emergency, and then 2-3 weeks in hospital learning how to walk again. So every day I can get out of bed and my feet touch that ground, it's like, yes, okay, it's going to be a good day. The rest of me is like, go back to bed. Oh, you're really, really sore today. It's like, no. And I get up, and the first thing I do, I go to the toilet, then I come back and I make my bed.
Yes.
Every single day I make my bed without fail, and that builds resilience. And it's like, well, I can't get back into bed. I'll occasionally get back on the bed, and more so lately now I've been suffering with long COVID, I'll go and lie down, but I never get back into the bed, because it's made, and there's nothing nicer than hopping into a bed that's, freshly made at night. So that's one of my coping mechanisms with it, to start the day and make that bed. And I do mention that as well on there's a really good video. I've put it in the 10 top tip pack. Admiral, just gone blank on his name, and he talks about the importance of making your bed every single day, and setting yourself up. And if you are suffering with pain, and you do have that negative mindset at that time, just make your bed, and you've accomplished one thing throughout the day.
I have come across that.
It sets you in such a positive mindset when you do that.
Yeah, it sure does.
Okay, so who are your role models in resilience, and how do they inspire you?
Yeah, so when I think of my role models, I guess it goes into two buckets. So there's sort of those celebrity role models, and then my everyday people role models. So for my celebrity role models, the two that jump to mind straight away is Toria Pitt, as well as, I'm not going to say his surname wrong, Nick Vujicic.
Yes.
So Toria Pitt, she was the ultra marathon runner that got caught in those horrendous bushfires, and then she, just showed us, that I guess, that we can't be, we can get over our adversities and our challenges, and she's gone on to do Ironmans, and she's, her skin, it's so much harder for her, just because, obviously with those bands to her body, she can't control her temperature regulation, and just it's hard enough doing an Ironman, let alone, having those challenges as well. So she's someone that just, I absolutely love.
And she had a baby. She's had 1 or 2 children.
I've lost track now, but yes,
I know there's at least one.
That's it. Yeah. And then Nick, he was born without arms and legs, and he's a motivational speaker, and his stories just so inspiring and so uplifting, and just all the things that he's gone on to do. And I guess, just to show that, it's only the limits that we place on ourselves, really.
That's right.
We can have all sorts of things happen, but when it comes down to it, we are the ones that ultimately place those limits. And really, the world's our oyster. We can do whatever it is that we want to do. Like, he's been scuba diving and all sorts of things. You're just like, that's amazing. If he can do that, then
and
so
also listening to other people's limiting beliefs.
Yes.
So I was told 11 years ago I'd never be able to work again.
There you
After
go.
I was diagnosed with the MS, and my neurologist said, you better find a hobby. You're going to have a lot of time on your hands, because I couldn't do the job that I was doing. And I got told by employment services that they didn't have enough money or time to retrain me. And so I was sitting in a very, very dark hole. And the one thing that they told me was to find a hobby. And I picked painting, and now Justine Martin Corporation is all like snowballed from picking up a paintbrush, because my mum used to say to me, there's no such word as can't.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if your parents ever said that, but she would say there's no such word as can't. And so when that neurologist told me that I could not or can't work anymore, that was his limiting belief. He didn't know me. Okay, so it took a long time to retrain, and I still have cognitive issues, but I have systems in place to work around those cognitive issues. But that was his limiting belief, saying that I couldn't work again. He didn't know me. And, listen to the people that are around you, that quite often, if you've got an exciting new project or a new dream or something like that, and you share it with people, they'll turn around and say to you, well, why do you want to do that? Oh, I can't see you doing that. You'll be no good at that. And that's their limiting belief, because they couldn't do it themselves, but that doesn't mean that you can't.
That's exactly right. Yeah, no, and I guess, you're the perfect example of that with your various businesses. And imagine if you had to listen to, that neurologist. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be on the planet. I went down a very, very dark hole for a period of time, and it was hard. It was bloody hard. I look now where I've come in 11 years, and I thought I had my dream job 11 years ago when I had to stop. No, I had a limiting belief that was my dream job. And now, I love my work. I love every day. It doesn't feel like work, helping people, whether it's in art wellness classes or it's in resilience consulting, whether it's volunteering. I do a lot of volunteering as well as running all the businesses. And that's my dream. That's my dream, and that's my future, is to continue helping people. And that's how, the Resilience Mindset podcast was actually born as well, was, to get the message out about overcoming adversities and gaining resilience and helping as many people as we possibly can, with some amazing, inspiring stories like yours. So you mentioned that there were celebrities, and then there was people that were closer.
Yeah. So then the other, when it comes to, adversities and things, I think just, seeing people around you, just general life, we're all facing adversities. There's, death, divorce, job loss. Every day people are, facing different things. I guess it's just seeing people that, how they cope, how they bounce back, and just that, that positive mindset that they take on when you think, oh my goodness, like, that is just, that's horrendous, or, that's just absolutely horrible that's happening. But, they still, can get up every day, still do the things that they love. So I guess, that really inspires me when I hear stories and see people really be resilient to the life challenges that come their way.
I wish the news would show more people.
Yes.
For every bad story that they put up there, for every murder or rapist or pedophile, put 2 or 3 good stories in there. Not tag one on at the end if there's enough time, but why aren't they showing more positive stories? And then the world would be a much nicer place.
Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, like there's so much happens every single day, and every single person in our life. But yeah, you're right. It does often get focusing on that negative, and I guess it comes back to that mindset, isn't it? It's like that empowering mindset as well. It's what we focus on, and we've got that choice. Yeah.
We can hope in the future.
Yes.
Someone might listen to resilience mindset down the in the future, down the pathway, and go, oh, that's a really good idea, and start changing it, because we can't go on forever with news like this all the time, bad news all the time. And I stopped watching commercial news 2.5 years ago, and people go, oh, how do you find out what's going on with the world? Well, in conversation, and then I can go, communication with other adults, and someone will tell me if something terrible has happened, and then I'll go and explore online and look for myself. But control the fuel that you're putting into your mind, and that is inspiring stories from other people, or TEDx talks, or reading positive things, and that all helps, again, build resilience in coping with anything bad that then comes your way, rather than always focusing on bad things that are happening around you, which are the majority of the time are out of our control.
That's it.
So, control, focus on the things that you can control in your life.
Yes, definitely.
So what are some of your passions, Alyce?
Yeah, so I absolutely love traveling and adventure and endurance sports. So my next big goal is the Larapinta hiking trail. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a 230-kilometre hike in Northern Territory in the West MacDonnell Ranges. So yes, I am currently in training mode for that. So I undertake that at the very beginning of June. So I'm hoping to do it in 9 days. So
what's training mode mean for you?
So but when it comes to my hiking training, it's strength training, aerobics, so like stair climbs and cycling efforts, as well as distance hiking. So my week's made up at the moment of 2 strength sessions, 1 stair climb, 1 bike session, and 2 long hikes.
Wow. You're making me tired. I'm sure the other listeners are like, oh God. I weight train 3 days a week at the moment, and I've got a strongman event next week, my first ever strongman event. So that'll be fun. But yeah, you're making me tired just thinking about all of it. Kudos to you. I find that very inspiring, what you're doing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I find just the exercise is one of those things that it gives me energy, even though it sounds tiring, but after you finish it, you feel so good. So that's something that is definitely, I always give myself, whether it's a triathlon goal or you're hiking, they're both 2 areas that I absolutely love to set goals in. And then when it comes to other passion areas, as I mentioned in my bio, I love cooking and experimenting, growing our own veggies, as well as, spending time at the beach. So I live in Queensland and have accessible beach on my doorstep. So very lucky. So yeah, lots of
365 days a year, I bet. I'm in Victoria and I think we have 1 week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I used to live in Victoria. So I grew up in Victoria, so I can definitely emphasize.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up out in the Dandenong Ranges in Belgrave.
Yeah,
so far from the beach, and I'd always wanted to live by the beach. So when the opportunity arose, it was definitely it was meant to be. And then the other areas, just I'm a little health obsessed, so I just love researching different areas of health. Really, I know. So that's another bit of passion of mine. Always reading up on things and experimenting with just different things that are going to help my health and support my clients as well.
And obviously a passion for you is helping other people.
Yes, very much so. I definitely, it lights me up and gets me out of bed, that's for sure, seeing the transformation and difference in others' lives.
So I've got a couple of questions for you now that you don't know about. But if you've listened to the podcasts before, you might know some of them. So pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, no, I love it fresh. And I have a pineapple farm at the end of my street. There you go.
Oh, nice. I can't eat raw pineapple.
Oh, yeah, the enzymes in it.
Yeah, it makes my tongue bleed.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay.
So I can eat cooked on pizza, as the listeners well know. I do like a Aussie with pineapple, with a bit of chili and garlic on there. But it's not about me. Okay, so tea, coffee, hot chocolate, or wine?
Oh, I'd have to go a herbal tea. Yes, I know caffeine person either. So yes, I love all my different teas that I have. I have way too many, and hubby's always.
So what's your favourite herbal?
Oh, I do really like a rooibos, because I can then add some almond milk into that, and it's quite a full body. So that's, and I like the different vanilla and flavours that you can get in the rooibos teas.
I'm quite partial to licorice tea.
Oh, yes. I do like that as well.
Yes. Okay, your favourite band?
Oh, see, I love to dance, but do you know what? I really don't have a favourite band. I will boogie and dance to music, but I would not be able to tell you the people who are singing it. Sorry.
That's okay. I recently saw Foo Fighters, so I'm still on a high from that.
Oh, that would have been pretty good.
It was good. Unfortunate about Taylor, but yeah, it was really good. Your favourite food?
Oh, that is a very, very hard one. I would have to say, oh goodness, I really love at the moment. Okay, I'm going to go a flourless orange almond meal cake.
Now that's different. I presume it tastes nice because I'm allergic to oranges.
Oh no!
Yeah, when I go to a cafe, there's no cakes I can ever eat because the only flourless one they always have is orange. Like, oh. Or if I go to a seminar, they'll have tea, coffee, or orange juice, and I can't have any of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have a hot water, thanks. Okay, my last question. Toilet paper, forwards or backwards?
It goes forwards. I used to just pop it on, but hubby is very strict on the forwards. So I'm like, okay.
You use less paper when it's forward. It's better for the environment.
There you go.
Especially when there's kids. It's like you use three sheets against 5 sheets. There you go.
There you go.
A bit of trivial, useless information for you. So
love it.
Anyway, Alyce, how can people contact you if they're looking for some support with nutrition or autoimmune?
Yeah, so I'm active on Facebook and on Instagram. So my Facebook's Alyce Garth Health Coaching for the business page. And then I also have a private free community as well, which is the Happy, Healthy and Inspired Community, Thyroid and Autoimmune.
Awesome. And we'll put those links in the bio for you. So people that are listening on whatever streaming platform that you're listening to, all the details on how to contact Alyce will be in there. So thank you, Alyce, for your time today.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I loved having our discussion.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Now, remember, listeners, that you can hop onto justinemartin.com.au, and if you're looking at the 10 top tips of resilience, you can download that pack there. So until next time, stay resilient.
Would you like to read more about resilience from Justine Martin? Grab one of her co-authored books, Release the Shackles, Courage and Confidence, or Roar. All available online at justinemartin.com.au/shop. We hope you enjoyed the Resilience Mindset podcast. Remember to subscribe to the podcast to get your weekly fix listening to Resilience Queen Justine Martin. Follow Justine on social media at Resilience Mindset or log on to justinemartin.com.au. And until next time, remember, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient.